Hey, good morning, everybody. Keith Pitch here, Real Estate Now. It is 10 a.m. Thursday. So we are ready for another great show. I am here with my co-host, Stacy Chevalier.
Hey guys, happy to be here. Happy Thursday.
First Thursday of June. Here we are.
So we have a special guest today, but let's start with start with our views from last week.
Awesome.
So we had a total of 465 views across our platform. So again, we appreciate all your guys' support, and we will be donating $465 to our local food banks. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. We love sharing the information in the real estate world, mortgages, housing, what have you. So please, if you're finding this information valuable, like, share, help us get the word out. We'd really appreciate that. So I'd love to see 500 this week. Do you think we can get 500? I hope so. If you guys could help us out, we'd greatly appreciate that.
Well, we do have Renee on, so I think with our special guest, we'll hit over 500. Yeah. But before we bring him on, let's talk about interest rates and where the market's at.
Rates. Here we go. So this week we saw a slight tick up from the week prior. Really, it's a 0.02 move up from 3.16 to 3.18, which is like very small impact whatsoever on mortgages and the cost of funds. So still an amazing time to take advantage of the cost of funds in the mortgage world. And whether you're buying your first house, you're buying a new house, you're buying a rental property, or you're just looking to refinance and save your money and put it in your pocket, definitely a great time to still take advantage of those low rates. One thing that I do want to point out here is I went back to, I would like to look back where we've come from, because it's an interesting thing. And here's the peak that we hit in November of 2018. So just less than 2 years ago, we were touching 5% on interest rates. So to be down here in the low threes, it's truly a blessing that you guys can all take advantage of. So let us know how we can help and make that mortgage a little bit more affordable on a monthly basis. So we are super excited to have our guest speaker here today. Stacy, you want to intro Renee?
Yeah, I'm in. Let's bring Renee into the chat box here. Let's see. There he is. Welcome, Renee.
How are you?
Good. We're good. Great. Renee, Keith and I do this together, so we're happy to have you on. We thought we would just start with having you give our viewers just some background of who you are.
Sure. Yeah, my background is I've been a part of the mortgage industry for going on 18 years as a consultant, trainer, speaker, and I've played different roles as chief learning officer, dean of universities, and ran a loan origination software as their CEO for a while. So I've been I've owned a mortgage company for a while. So I know the industry well. I love it, passionate for it. But my background is in behavioral neuroscience, and so I look at the science behind how do we become better influencers, better sales professionals, better leaders, better communicators, and things like that.
Communication is so key, and now more than ever. So that's powerful message. Let's jump right into some questions that we had for you. So right now there's a little bit of stress between what's going on in the world, what's going on with COVID-19, and stress is something that you talk about a lot. Renee, how do you manage stress in a time like this?
Wow, it's a big question. I mean, especially with what's going on right now. It's so sensitive. It's so real. It's so close to home for so many, and something that's very close to home for me too. I mean, it's literally happening in my backyard right now, 15 minutes from my house.
Renee. So people know, where are you located?
In Minnesota, so it's the ground zero of all this is in Minneapolis. It's about 15 minute drive for me. And but there's a difference between stress and and history and anger. And, the thing I've been cautioning people is, one, we do have to manage our stress because this is a very highly stressful environment right now. And the biggest thing right now people need to be doing is just listening and speaking their hearts and their values. But, there's different sides. There's elements of this where people really need to speak up, and there's elements where people need to listen before they speak up. And there's a lot of tension in the air. And so how do you manage your stress during that time to be able to listen, to be able to speak in a coherent way? And that is first understanding that stress is a physical response. It's something that isn't this esoteric thing that's out, like nailing gel to a wall. You can't grab onto it. It is a physical response. You feel it in your body. And when you realize that it is a physical response, you have to use physical things to be able to do that. And the next piece is understanding that stress is a nervous system triggered thing that has two sides to it. You have the parasympathetic nervous system and you have the sympathetic nervous system. And so what that means is you've got one side that is a relaxed response, which is your parasympathetic nervous system. Then you have the excitatory response, which is your sympathetic nervous system. And those systems are antagonistic, which means they're either on or off. It's like you can't have the lights on and off at the same time. It's one or the other. And so when you're in the system one or sympathetic nervous system response, you have to use parasympathetic things like breathing. And that's why the Navy SEALs or any elite athlete or any elite professional is going to use relaxation, mindfulness, breathing. Navy SEALs made famous box breathing in for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, breathing out for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds. And repeating that process, what it tells the brain, one is allows oxygen to the brain. And the brain doesn't feel like it's dying. But what happens when we're under stress is we stop breathing and we get less oxygen, only reinforcing the process that we're going to die. And then we respond in that fight, flight, freeze response. So by controlling and creating structure around breath, your whole body is able to respond differently. And, of course, the last thing you want to do when you're stressed and angry is breathe. You want to yell and scream and say, you go breathe, and it's not something that we want to do. But the times that we need those tools the most is when we want them the least. And so it's very difficult. And the other part of it too is, I've been quoted many times saying that the tool of the high performer is the punchline of the underperformer. And so, here the highest performers in the world are using relaxation and breathing and visualization and mindfulness, while the underperformer is going, oh God, we're going to have to kumbaya again. And it really needs to start being understood. But, self-reflection is a big piece of it too, getting yourself ready for something like that. I mean, we have two things happening. We have a world crisis and we have the need to continue to be strong professionals. And so, I can go down either path, and I'll let you guys decide which path you want me to discuss.
Right.
What do you think, Keith?
Well,
I think we go down the crisis path. I think you are right there. I saw some of the things you posted, Renee, of your city, and I mean, it was, we had things happening too here in Seattle and Bellevue, but nothing for what you guys experienced. So first, I just want to know, how are you guys doing, and how is your city doing, and are you guys starting to pull together, or where are you guys at?
Me personally, I'm perfectly safe in this beautiful neighborhood in a beautiful suburb of Minnetonka and Wayzata. And that's been what's hard is something so tragic and happens so close. And it's so easy for me to just think, it's fine because it's 15 minutes away, but it could be a world apart, and when you get close and the reality sets in of the pain that people have been in and the struggle. And then when you engage in conversations with people that just can't see it and don't understand it. I have chosen the path of having a lot of private one-on-one conversations with people of influence that have had a hard time understanding. And those have been some of the most difficult.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I'm sure it's that's
there. Sorry,
it's very empathetic for you to reach out and be able to talk to these people on one-on-one and help them understand. Because I think there's so many people not understanding and not getting the care that you're giving these people to help them understand. It's just kind of nasty rhetoric on social rather than trying to help people get to a place of understanding.
Yeah, and it's been 8 days of me doing this. It's And I have to stop apologizing for the emotion, because the emotion is real. The emotion is something that isn't new. And I get sad and I get angry because people are just now seeing something that's been happening for so long. And but at the same time, the conversations need to happen at some of the most difficult levels with people. And I've been inspired and I've been just moved by some amazing friends and colleagues that went from, I don't understand this, and being angry, to then having this moment of going, I can't believe I've been missing this for so long. And having them see and finding that compassion to be able to see that this is a good thing that people are talking about, and that a good change that needs to happen. And that, we can dilute it with, and vaccinate ourselves from seeing what's going on with focusing on the riots, which are no good. Nobody wants that. But there are some people that are saying, gosh, had the riot not happened, I wouldn't have paid attention. Had the riot not happened, if I had not been scared out of my mind, I wouldn't have even noticed. A really good friend of mine who was on the opposite end of what my beliefs were, yesterday posted a video, because he lives downtown, and he was talking about, and it's one of the most beautiful videos. I watched it with tears in my eyes, and he was the guy that got mad when Colin Kaepernick kneeled, and he was mad when all this happened. He was the All Lives Matter guy, and it was always in everyone's face. And when he saw the rioters come down his street, he grabbed his gun, and he said, I grabbed my gun, and I told my wife, I said, if we get in the truck now, we can get out of here. And his wife looked at him and said, honey, those people are scared. They're peaceful, and they maybe need us to listen. And he just had this moment of, holy crap, maybe. And then he went out there and he talked to people, and he had this epiphany of, holy crap, I've been missing this. And he went to his 16-year-old brother that he's been coaching, and he talked to him, and he said, all it means is that we want to matter as well, too. And because it's just our experience in these scenarios, it doesn't feel like we matter. And you just watch these epiphanies grow. And that, to me, is one of the most important things that need to happen, because to be able to spark an idea, and I think that's what influence is about. And we can apply this to sales. We can apply this to leadership. We can apply this to anything. To be able to spark an idea in the opposition, that is a real skill. To spark an idea in somebody who already believes in what you're saying, who cares? Nobody cares. That's easy. I can go talk to anybody. But to spark an idea in somebody that is just far, that is the skill set. That's the beauty. That's what's needed right now. And I was telling people, I go to what I've been telling people that don't understand this. I said, well, I'm going to be doing a course on the menstrual cycle and helping women deal with it. And they look at me like, I'm like, it sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? I said, almost as ridiculous as you sound right now. I said, why don't we listen? and those are skill sets that I have to be able to sort of pierce through ridiculous thinking. And, maybe my job right now is to have the difficult conversations in a way that I don't want to attack people, because it does no good to attack somebody. We have to honor, we have to praise, we have to celebrate the journey of the person that didn't see it and has the awakening. That is one of the most beautiful things that can happen right now. And we have to be able to see that. And when I get frustrated too, and I've had the conversations with the people that attack those folks, yeah, you should have been listening. I understand the anger, but I look at them, I say, but isn't this what you're trying to get? And when we get it, let's love it. And there's a lot of passion here.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you, can we bring this back to maybe groupthink of how people are not understanding what's going on and how you're doing these one-on-ones?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's partially why, I don't make controversial statements on Facebook. And people are like, why? I said, well, one of the fundamental core teachings that I talk about is you're getting your heart to speak in sequence. And that in sequence is the most critical piece. Not just getting your heart to speak. Because if my heart is angry and I start yelling at people, no one's listening to me, because I'm just attacking and I'm triggering a part of their brain that pushes me off. So I have to find a way to speak in a sequence, in a pattern, in a way that people will listen. Now, I have the luxury of doing that. Now, that's a privilege that I have by being trained, by having access to that information, by having, being far removed from the situation for so long. I have that privilege. And so I need to use that privilege to be able to have the conversations that maybe others can't. Right. And so to me, I know that no one's going to change their mind based on a Facebook post. And I made that mistake 2 days ago where I posted, I was looking at framing from an Amplify perspective and looking at two headlines. I took CNN's headline and I took Fox's headline and I posted them both. And I said, hashtag framing. And I put nothing else to it. And the emotions and the attacks and everything that started going. And I posted it and went to go work out. And I got back and I'm like, oh, I knew better than to do this. And I was sad, I was angry and fascinated and all of it. And I just deleted it because it wasn't going where I wanted it to go. And it wasn't what I meant, but I knew better. And, so for me, the stories and the things that I want to do are done. I'm trying to go to the highest influential levels that I have access to the people that are the ones that can influence hundreds, if not thousands, in with just a single word from them. And that to me is maybe that's my role here. And that's how I see it. And I didn't come on here to do this, so I appreciate the questions, and I want to honor what it is that you've had me here for.
No, we're just honored to have you on here, and you have great influence too. So I really appreciate hearing that you're reaching out to leaders with even maybe greater influence and helping them understand, at a better understanding, so that they can help change happen. It's what we need to do.
Yeah, we all have a role.
Amen. Keeping right along.
Let's talk business. I think
let's talk business.
Let's talk business, and I'll come back to that stuff. But I think you guys have done. I mean, I really just want to applaud Loan in embracing this virtual world. All of you guys, from Alec and Brian Covey, and you guys, just to really embrace this has been awesome. Because there's a need for the housing market to continue to grow and to be leading the way in economically right now. And you guys are right front and center on that. So I applaud you guys. And it's an honor that we have a platform now to even have conversations of current events and what's going on, but also growth, because we have to continue to grow through this process as well.
Yeah, we do. And I would applaud Loan Depot too our CEO is a first generation immigrant, came here not speaking English. So everything that's happening has really touched his heart too. And he released, his feelings to our company, but he went a step further and released it publicly, which I thought was really great of him to express, his thoughts and feelings. So really proud of what you're doing, Renee, and really proud of Loan Depot through this as well.
Thank you.
Yes.
So let's bring it back a little bit towards business and the change of venue that we've had in the current disruption with COVID-19 and what have you. You talk about digital presence and digital business now, because we're doing this, right? We're on Zoom calls, we're doing live meetings, we're doing all these types of things, and so. How do we continue to build that understanding and get those clients that are interested in housing? How do we bridge them to take that next step? Because when I'm in person with somebody, I feel the efficacy. I can feel their emotions, what they're doing. It's harder to understand a client when we're talking on a video call.
Right. Well, it's funny that we're calling it digital body language and digital influence, and the world has changed right now, and hands are one of the most important things in communication. But you can't see my hands right now. And so what we call the influence zone when we're live is between my belly button and my eyes, right? And you can't see any of that stuff. So if I'm here, I have more, I can, I'm going this way, so the camera's backwards, so I can talk, and now I'm close. I'm moving my hands, but you can't see anything. So I have to learn how to talk like this, right? And be able to make things, and all the things that are going on. But if I were to back up, who speaks like this, right? Nobody speaks like this, right? This is a new behavior of being able to bring this to this place, which now looks normal. And so we have to learn new behaviors in showing hands, because hands show open or closed. If I'm closed, all of a sudden, I'm closed. But if my hands are open, there's something that's there. The other thing too is lighting is critical. And, if show me your, Keith, show me your left and your right hand. Which one's your right hand?
That's my right hand.
Okay. So show me your left. And so now do this with your face. And you see, see how there's a shadow right there with your left hand, right? So what's happening is I've had to learn about lighting. So you need what's called a fill light. to fill just the side of your face because it's dark, because I can't see this eye as well. And eyes are critical if I'm
Super
angry, right? If I'm intrigued, I'm like, whoa, right? Eyebrows are going up. This is a critical human interaction that's needed. Micro expressions of, not now this is confused, like what just happened here? Or the eye roll, right? Simple things like that. Those are all such necessary things in human interaction to create trust or distrust. And so lighting is a tool now. And I tell people, your desk isn't your desk anymore. That is your set. That is your stage. And a stage requires set and stage design. If you notice, we have been working diligently to make sure that our set design, right, as you see the basketball and black curtains because it was a window there, and all the things to make sure, like even I've got to figure out how to get rid of this white, so we're trying to figure out a way that, structuring the desk. It's all part of the brand. And if I was in Zoom, I've got a thing now that puts my brand here in the Zoom call. So it's not a backdrop. It's just a really super simple thing using Prezi that does that. And it makes it a lot, cleaner. So you're thinking about the messages. So you already notice my hands are up here. I would never talk like this in a normal environment. This is not normal, but in the new world, it has to kind of be that way. And so being able to also now, if you notice, my eyes aren't on you, they're on what I can see, but this is where you are. So I have to then turn here, but now I miss your body language here. So we're trying to figure out how to minimize the distance between you and the camera. So right now we're exploring the use of teleprompters, and teleprompters basically put a mirror in the camera to shoot through that, so I can look at the camera and see you at the same time. And so those are just innovations that have to happen for many competitive advantages, many ways of building trust a little bit faster, because we still have to build trust. We still have to be liked. We still have to be able to see those things. And so now the question is how. But you have so many people that just don't understand body language, and they sit at the tables like this, right? Because it's super comfortable. I'm gonna move this back over here so you can see what's going on. It's just like or they're just really low, or they wear hats, right? If I were to turn these lights off, you'd see that it's a very different experience. But all of which are so critical in building trust. And so working with clients, doing all the things, finding ways to use visual, connecting with them first and making sure they're okay, asking about taking great notes. Because if I'm on there and I have notes of our last conversation, I remember that your daughter was in a gymnastics conversation. I say, hey, before we're done, how's Sally? How was the gymnastics? And all of a sudden they see the smile, they see everything. That's really cool. I said, wow, that's really cool. I said, and then now we talk about that. That's a reconnection. Those are not new skills.
Those are like the 2 minutes you had before a board meeting that you're used to having, and now you got to find the way to do them virtually.
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes, it's just one of those things. And so we just finished our promo video for the new Amplify Virtual, and a lot of it talks about the needs and how do you then do all this virtually. And we put us in the grid, and now all of a sudden we're lost. How do you stand out in the grid? So we have HD cameras that we're using. By the way, both of you guys have great cameras there. It's great. And it looks really, really good. I've been the critic of everybody's cameras lately.
I told Keith, you can get on him on lighting.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for your Amplify Virtual event.
I had this light going on, and then she's like, "Oh, you better go grab your other light."
Yeah. And then all you need is just that little touch right there on that other side, just a little touch, and then just it out. Yeah. And then you get into what's called an edge light, which is behind, so you can see my head. There's a little light behind that just makes it look 3D and
contour.
In fact, I'm going to drop a link. I'll drop a link for you guys here because it's. I don't know where. Is there a way to drop links in here? I'll send it to you. But there's a great YouTube video on 3-point lighting.
Okay.
But that's important, and also audio. You can have horrible video, but if you got good audio that sounds right, that's going to be really, really important because then I can hear what's going on. So it's all those types of things, and the more familiarity that you have, because the more you guys keep doing video, I keep seeing your faces, and that's really it just starts building trust. And so consistency, continuing to do that kind of stuff, I think is going to be critical.
Yeah, send us that link and we'll add it to this chat. What do you have thoughts on how to be a good leader in this virtual world that we're in?
And when you say how to be a good leader, what kind of
how to connect, how to keep people engaged. You know, my team, we're a team of 70 plus in the Puget Sound. We've stayed very connected, but we were very connected before this, which gave us a benefit for sure as this started. But you can just feel the people want to get back together, and it's not happening in King County. So just some ideas of just keeping us engaged over the next few weeks or months.
Well, I think you said the best thing there, which was you had done the work prior to this. And so you prepped your team was connected. You guys were close before. So you took that connection virtually. And so starting virtually is hard. You have so many hurdles to be able to capture. But is it possible? Absolutely. Think of how many stories you've heard of online distance people falling in love they've never met. It's deep. I mean, these people fall in love deeply. So it's possible to connect with people that way. We just have to do it differently. And so what you said, number one, first thing is do it before you need to, right? So make sure your team is connected, have those connections with people, the relationships and everything. But then if you're the leader, you have to make one-on-one phone calls. You have to call people and check in, have the one-on-one Zoom, what's going on. And if you can manufacture ways, through exercises, team building, everything to make teams that are constantly changing, force me to call Stacy and have a one-on-one with her. Force me based on things to work with Keith one-on-one and John and Sally and Jose and whoever it is that's on the team to have that. And so then you've had those interactions throughout the week. So when you get together virtually, you have stories to share. You have things and you have connections that have happened. There's games that are played where, leaders, I know one of my good friends, Joe Renee, he had a happy hour, but he had his team drop off drink kits, right? And some were non-alcoholic and some were alcoholic. And they had this way that they, he hired a gentleman that does virtual mixology and teaching people how to make drinks together. And so there's things like that from a team building standpoint that can be kind of fun. But the connections come through the work. The connections come through the conversations, through the one-on-one phone calls. Just right now, the FaceTimes and just saying, hey, how are you doing? Goes so long, goes so far today. And so few people are doing it, which makes you part of a very small club.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's a really good rule across whatever business you're running or family members. I mean, I've started reaching out to all my family members. I mean, it's not business oriented, but it's about connecting with people. And it's powerful right now because we're all jonesing for that connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you tell that? So we have a lot of real estate agents. We have small business owners on that watch our messages. They're afraid to take that step and go live, that they don't think that they're going to look right. They don't think they're going to do this. They're going to mess it up or what have you. What would you say to those folks that are hesitant to start?
You won't look right. You will mess it up. You will stumble. You can't shortcut those things unless you hire a professional to do it for you. And I think that's great. I know I still suck at lives. So I go on yours because you guys know. I remember I went, yeah, exactly. Just take some reps, some swings. But I remember I'm like, okay, I just got to do this. So I sat at my computer, just got back from the gym. I was in my workout shirt and I just hit go live. And I'm like, oh, there's another button I got to press. And then I'm live. I'm like, oh, what do I do? I'm like, now people start joining and I'm like, I can't see them.
Yeah.
And I can't interact. So I better start talking. Okay, I got to just talk. I'm like, okay, what the hell am I going to talk about? And then people are like, hey, tell us about this. And then it feels like, if you're a comedian, they're like, hey, be funny, go. I'm like, I feed off of you, right? It's like, I didn't come here with an agenda. It's like, hey, be funny, tell us a joke. Hey, you're a funny guy, be funny. It's like, hey, be valuable. And it's like, and so I remember sitting there laughing, going, guys, I have no idea what I'm doing. Anyway, I would tell me what buttons to press, how this works. And so people started chiming in and saying, all right, try this. And you have to do this. I'm like, oh, that was cool. And I'm showing people, what I'm thinking the whole time, which I thought was fun. And people are, when you ask for help, people will do it. And if you're just transparent, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying, people will immediately jump in.
For sure. Well, I mean, it's in a way inspiring because the majority of us are still not doing this. So to watch somebody else take that first step and jump into the water, it's awesome. It's powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to get my team to do it for probably the last 2 years. So finally, I was just like, well, I'm going to do it because no one else has done it.
I've been watching Sean. Sean has really, really just grabbed the bull by the horns. He's calling me every day. He goes, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just doing it, man.
He's doing awesome. Yeah. I just love watching him and watching everybody. It's great. So we're coming up on our 30 minutes. Any final thoughts you want to share with us?
I'll say this, that everybody here listening, whether mortgage or real estate, you're critical to the economy right now. And not only are you critical to the economy, you are critical to your families. You're critical to this next generation and what they think, what they believe. The messages of homeownership are so important. I truly believe that more people owning homes is a part of the cure to all of this. There is something beautiful about homeownership that empowers the human spirit. And I think that might be a way to think about what it is that you're doing, and a way of you contributing to reach out and work a little harder to approve and to help those that can't be approved for a loan, teach them how, create a path for them, show them what they need to do, coach them through the process. And think about it. If you think of a long-term career, you may not get that deal now, but you'll get it a year from now, 2 years, 3 years from now. But they will always remember that you were the one that was helping them. And so know that what you're doing is valuable. Know that the conversations you have with people are valuable. I hope and I beg you to just be tolerant and listen right now. Listen to the pain, ask questions. And if you believe, if you feel something, then we need you to speak, and speak your heart. I'm not asking you to speak against your values, but I'm asking you to speak and do something.
Wow. That's great. Thank you.
Yep, great message. Very timely. Appreciate it for anyone that's, anyone to have this conversation with. I appreciate doing it with you, Renee. So thank you for having the courage to speak out today and leading us down this path. So
I appreciate the invitation, guys. Thank you so much.
Much appreciated. I'm very excited about your Amplify virtual event. So when you have more, I put everyone to go to your website, but when you have more details, we'll share that too.
Well, after this call, if you got a minute, I'll show you the new promo video that we'll launch next week.
Yeah. Hang on. We'll say goodbye to everyone
Okay.
else and we'll connect in the background.
Sounds good.
So.
Thanks, guys. Really, thank you. And kudos to Loan Depot for not only leading the way virtually and everything, but also having the courage to speak out on some of the things that are going on.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Renee. We'll talk to you in a few. All right, Keith.
Got to breathe that in and just process that. It's powerful stuff right there. So,
yep. Luckily, even though it's alive, we can rewatch it. It's
absolutely watch it, share it, and let's continue the conversation. So, speaking of continuing the conversation, we'll see everybody here next week at 10 a.m. And we will dive deep into another real estate oriented topic. And until then, have a great week.
Take care, everybody.